Good morning, everybody. What are we doing? All right.
Morning.
We're officially, I'm Tom Scott, president of the Coast Coast Advocate Seniors. We're here in Port St. Lucie, beautiful city of Port St. Lucie at the Parks and Recreation Center. And we run these meetings from January all the way through October. And then we play around with a turkey in November. And of course, we have a lot of holidays in December. So those 2 months, we don't have that. Although we have a great appreciation party for everyone in December. So sorry for the cramped space this morning because we had some big wigs knock us out of the big rooms. But that's okay. We're still here. We're smiling. So again, Tom Scott, and we're going to go around the room and introduce ourselves. And Catherine, go ahead.
Good morning, everyone. Catherine Griffin, Pinnacle Home Care and Vice President, Treasurer Coast Advocates for Seniors.
Good morning, Matt Bax with Stay Safe Services. I'm also a board member.
Hi, I'm Christine Wetzenhaber. I'm with Michelle Franklin, our property appraiser.
Good morning, Michelle Franklin, property appraiser.
Good morning, Dana Foreman, notarized with care and fingerprinting with care.
Mike with Aqua Care.
Mary Scott with Treasure Coast Advocates for Seniors and with Kelly as well. And I'm also a board member.
Oh, I thought they were going down there.
Oh, we'll go right there. Right.
Oh, well,
Right across.
I'm just Diana and I don't have a title.
More than enough.
Well, Diana, to me, it's pretty royal name.
And I'm Linda, Kennedy.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Okay.
Mark Phillip, Medicare agent.
I'm Jennifer Ross with Council on Aging of St. Lucie, also a board member.
John Daly with Senior Care Authority, helping seniors find new homes in retirement communities. This will be here.
Steve Hedrick, Performance Health and Chiropractic, and Stewart Disc Centers of America.
Danielle Buck, Aviva Independent Living, opening in September in St. Lucie West.
Good morning, Karen Kenneth Schmidt from Right at Home Services.
At Miles, Harbor Place, Port St. Lucie Senior Living Community.
Brian Brackeen, Fairway Independent Mortgage, Team Brackeen.
Oh, good morning. Andrea Davis with Tender Touch Caregivers and the Patient's Choice Home Health and also a board member.
Georgia, I guess I'm last, but I'm a elder law attorney, proactive legal care, and a board member.
Okay, so our breakfast sponsor, come on up, Danielle. We're gonna have you talk a little bit.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Danielle with Aviva Luxury Independent All-Inclusive Living. It's a mouthful, opening September. We hope, St. Lucie West, we were initially on track for July, then construction, of course, typical with new builds, led us to August, and then we were fortunate enough to have an infestation supposedly of gopher turtles. So that delayed us a little bit more, but the building, the inside is actually almost done. We are going to have 159 units, 3 floors. Yes, we have elevators, people ask. Heated pool. When I say luxury, I mean it really is luxury. Our executive chef is from a restaurant background, not in, a senior living background. So all the meals are included, fine dining, valet parking, housekeeping, maintenance, everything is included, all the utilities. There's lake view, there's pool view. So everything is right there. We don't really have anything like that around us. We're even going to have the ability for people to have some care when the time comes that they need it, because we're renting space to Elder Home Care Services. Christine Rigg, you all know her. She's not here today. She has a migraine, but she's sad about that. But so she'll have people in the building and LPN all day, every day. So that's something that I think will be an added bonus. And we're excited. We just can't wait to get open. We, like I said, 159 units. We are already at 85 deposits, sight unseen, which is insane. So yeah, so that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
I want to live in that luxury.
Wow.
Three meals a day, you don't cook.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I'm Catherine. I'm the Vice President of Treasure Coast Advocates for Seniors, as I've said. And I see some new faces here, so I'm gonna read the mission statement of Treasure Coast Advocates for Seniors, as we call it, TCAS. The mission of Treasure Coast Advocates for Seniors is to provide healthcare and financial education, counseling, and assistance on the Treasure Coast. Treasure Coast Advocates for Seniors was started back in 2008 when Mona Gwynn Huff, Kim Nelson, Dale White, Pam Springer, Kathy Blackman, and moi decided over coffee to help our seniors on the Treasure Coast. Nancy Hannon, Leslie, Lee Borellis, others joined the board shortly after. Since then, Mona and Gwill have passed, and we still honor them with carrying this torch of assisting seniors. We are all volunteers. Each of us have regular jobs. And but our commitment is always to help our seniors in need. In the past, we've helped seniors with air conditioning needs, carpet cleaning, pest control, even pet supplies. If you know of a senior that needs assistance, please speak to one of our board members so we can assist. Our meetings are here every last Thursday, not always in this small little room. Except for November and December, as Tom said. November, we have Thanksgiving, so we don't have a meeting. And then in December, we have a holiday party for everybody. And we're always looking for new members. You can always join on tcadvocates.org. So I'm going to just tell you some of the upcoming meetings that we're having. We're honored to have our property appraiser today, Michelle Franklin. In August, we have DCF, Tangela Brown, speaking on abuse, neglect, exploitation in the vulnerable adult. The coffee sponsor is going to be Senior Helpers, Chef Schetzel. In September, we have Dr. Rains from Florida Orthopedic Specialists, and our coffee sponsor is Molly's House and Elder Care Services. October, Matt's working on getting a pulmonologist for us. As I said, nothing in November. December is the holiday party. January, we've got Dr. Tradewell, who's a new urologist. February, thank you, Steve. We've got Dr. Frank Gianpedro, and he's going to be doing a talk on balance and stability. And Steve said they'll even bring the machine. So that'll be really interesting. So we're going to talk about our events later, and we'll have Andrea come up and talk about the newest event. So with honor, I'm going to give you a little bio on Michelle Franklin. Michelle Franklin is the property appraiser of St. Lucie County. She was elected property appraiser by the voters of St. Lucie County in 2016. Franklin oversees the office's duty to determine the value of all property within the county, including improved and vacant real property, tangible personal property, and agricultural property. The office is also responsible for maintaining property ownership records and parcel ownership maps, as well as administering exemptions. Prior to being elected property appraiser, Michelle served as the director of administration responsible for overall business management functions, information technology, human resources, and finance activities. Before her time with the property appraiser's office, she had a career in banking until 2004. She earned her bachelor's degree from Indian River State College in organizational management. She holds a public human resources professional certificate from the Florida Public Human Resources Association and is a certified Florida appraiser by the state of Florida. She currently serves on the board of directors for the United Way of St. Lucie and Okeechobee and is on the executive committee for Graceway Village. She's also an active member of Kiwanis and Rotary. Let's welcome Michelle.
Thank you, Catherine. Come on up, Christine. Are you gonna hit next for me or do you want Christine to? Yeah. Look how quickly Tom left that. Christine's in. Do you want to do? Okay. So thank you, Catherine, for that wonderful update of my life. It feels like life quickly flashes before your eyes. When people read a bio, you're like, oh, that seemed like yesterday. No, that was decades ago. It's an honor to serve. As we go through this PowerPoint, I want to ask you, please, any questions you may have, shout them out right away as we're on a topic, okay? Because I feel like it's relevant while it's fresh in your mind. So please, I love questions. So I'm here for you today. Please ask anything that comes up. First, we're going to go through important dates. So as Catherine mentioned, the property appraiser's office is charged with placing a value. We currently have about 186,000 parcels in St. Lucie County that we're placing a value on each and every January 1. I'll try to move over so you. We also are doing that for tangible personal property. Anybody have an idea what tangible personal property is? Generally speaking, it is that equipment that is in an office that you can pick up and move from one location to another. Okay, so if I'm in the doctor's office and I'm getting an x-ray, that x-ray machine is at 123 Main Street today. Tomorrow they can move it to 456 Main Street when they switch offices, right? I say generally because what's also included in tangible personal property is transmission lines, gas lines, cell towers, billboards, and things of that nature that don't actually move. St. Lucie County's largest tangible personal property taxpayer. Anybody have any idea who that might be? Are y'all awake? Okay, that's making sure. It is actually FPL out on the island, those two reactors. So assessment of real and tangible property and all exemptions are based on January 1. March 1 is the deadline in theory to file for those exemptions. And I say in theory because the state does allow just a little bit of gray area in a couple of areas of the office. And one of those is my ability to accept a late application. And we will do so. I want to ensure that every property owner receives every exemption they're entitled to. So we will actually take exemption applications all the way through till September. So if you know of somebody, if there's a conversation, I don't know, oh, I have to wait a whole nother year. Please come see us, send them to us, because we want to ensure they receive every exemption that they're entitled to. If they're a couple months late, we'll work on, we'll figure that out, okay? April 1 is for tangible returns, and then applicable to every property owner. In mid-August, you're going to receive a trim notice, and that is your estimate of taxes. Trim stands for truth in millage, lets you know what's coming on the November tax bill that's going to be mailed by the tax collector's office. Okay, so that's kind of an overview of the dates. I will mention in that too, that many people think that we actually answer to, there's seats if you want to come in, that we answer to the county or the city. You know, the city, as Tom said, they kind of booted us out because they're doing a budget workshop. I actually answer not only to the voters of St. Lucie County, obviously, but to the state of Florida. So the tax roll and my budget goes up to Tallahassee. So there is no oversight by any local authority as to our tax roll. So sometimes people say, you just want to make sure that the county gets the most money. I don't have a dog in the fight of the amount of money that any of our 23 taxing authorities receive. Okay, our job is to make sure that you receive every exemption that you're entitled to and that your value is fair and accurately completed. So as I said, 183,000 parcels, 118,000 plus of those are single family homes. 24,000 plus are vacant residential. What does vacant residential mean? That means that a shovel can go in the ground today. They're plotted and ready. Will there ultimately be more than the 24,000? Absolutely. Because as most of you have been here a little while know, we're moving where? We're moving west, right? The cities moving further out. Those are getting platted by developers, and what was once agricultural land is becoming single family homes. So we will see more than 24,000 in St. Lucie County before we're done building. 14,000 condos, 97,000 plus have a homestead exemption. 89,000 plus of those have a 3% cap.
You get the 3% cap. Thank you.
Led right into it. It's almost like we got planted you. I love that. Homestead is two-part. First part of it is an exemption, right? A $50,000 exemption off of your assessed value. So if I have a $300,000 home and I get an exemption on it, I'm going to pay taxes on $250,000. That's the first year, right? Homestead's going to save the average property owner in St. Lucie County somewhere between $800 and $1,000 that first year. The second year of having your homestead in place, you get the benefit of a 3% cap, meaning your value cannot increase more than 3% in any one tax year.
Automatically?
Automatically, as long as you have your homestead in place. So the second year, the first year you establish your base, the second year you benefit from that 3% cap.
So I should have my 3% cap this year because last year I started the homestead.
Yes, ma'am. So you will not see any kind of significant increase unless there were changes made to the rate, the millage rate, which generally they don't make significant changes like that.
Yeah, they're trying to lower it.
Exactly, which would be a benefit. The more taxing authorities that lower their rate, which is city, the county, the Children's Service Council, all have put in rates that are lower. That will benefit. So 89,000 of those 97 mean that they have had an exemption in place for longer than 1 year. So they get that 3% benefit. 50,000 plus parcels are benefiting from the non-homestead cap. Automatically, if you do not have a 3% cap on your property, you automatically have a 10% cap. That means it's vacant land. That means it's residential second home. That means it's a commercial building. Whatever the property type is, if it doesn't have a 3% cap, homesteaded cap, it automatically has a non-homesteaded cap. Those non-homesteaded caps, you do not need to apply for it. They automatically go on the property. And then again, 2,400 plus 2,400 acres, parcels of agricultural. Wait, you think I'm not awake yet? I promise I've been up since 4:45 this morning, 4:40. That's about 205,000 acres currently. This is St. Lucie County's total value. If you, I know it's hard to see, I apologize, but if you look at the lighter blue, that's your just value, also known as market value. When we do a market value in the office, that is for tax purposes only. That does not mean that's what you're going to list your house for today. You're going to call professionals like Tom and Mary and say, what's the current market doing? Because we are a year behind the market. Okay, so that lighter blue is the just value. The darker blue is the total taxable value. Okay. Anybody see anything unusual about this graph when you look at the beginning of the graph?
It's blurry.
Well, can't control that. And then when you get to the end of the graph, look how far apart those 2 points are. Anybody have any idea why? We decided in 2008 that we would, that's Florida voters, we would give ourselves a benefit to take our 3% tax savings from any one homesteaded address in the state of Florida to any other address in the state of Florida that we are going to homestead. It's called portability. So you can take your tax savings down the street or to Pensacola. Okay, that happened in 2008. Tom, what was going on in the market in 2008? Not much. So we thought this will be great. This will help. And so we're going to make a 10-year deal. So we make a 10-year deal to 2018. Guess what happened in 2018? We, as Florida voters, said, wait a minute, don't take away the benefit we've had for the last decade. We like that. That's been helpful. So we decided we would continue it on. So now portability, the ability to take your homestead benefit from any address to another is forevermore. Why is that going to matter to our folks that are in our room doing the city workshop and budgeting right now? Anybody have any idea? Because now they don't know based on permits what's coming in. In the past, I pull a permit for a $300,000 house. I'm going to pay taxes on a $300,000 house, or I'm going to get the benefit of a homestead exemption and I'm going to pay taxes on a $250,000 house. So there was only a $50,000 swing that could happen there. Now, I come in to purchase a $300,000 house. I was living down in Broward, let's say, and I bring a benefit, a tax savings benefit of $200,000. So my $300,000 house is minus $200,000, and then I get my homestead benefit. I'm now paying taxes on $50,000. And that is for as long as I own that property. So that significantly changes the taxable value that our 23 taxing authorities are receiving and filing for. Okay, moving on to how your taxable value is created, and we spoke about this just a little earlier. We create a market value. An appraisal is an opinion of value. We create a market value based on the sales that occurred in the prior year. Okay? Minus from that, any cap you have on your property, 3 or 10% cap. That gets you to an assessed value. Your assessed value minus your exemptions gets you to a taxable value. Okay, so it is very challenging, especially for new property owners that are coming to the state of Florida, to look at a property that their neighbor may own, and their neighbor has the exact same house built by the exact same builder in the exact same year, and he's been there for 10 years, so he's paying half the amount of taxes that I am. Doesn't seem fair, can't be right. It is, because that homestead cap has been in place, maybe not even at that home, maybe he brought that benefit with him from another Florida property. So it leads to a very unique and confusing tax structure. So please call us if you have any questions at all. Homestead exemption, we kind of covered this a little bit. It's a $50,000 exemption. In order to qualify, you must own and occupy the property, right? My name has to be on the deed, not the mortgage. I don't care who's paying for the property. Name is on the deed as ownership, and you have that legal title, and you occupy that property as your primary residence. Does that mean that you have to stay there 6 months in a day? No. Means that you have to be there as your primary residence. That's where your driver's license, your car is registered. That's where you're filing your tax return from. So that kind of covers, you got to be a resident. What else do we have next?
On the homestead,
Additional, okay, yes, homestead.
you apply for that online,
Absolutely, absolutely.
real easy, or?
If you can type in your name and hit enter, and your birth date and hit enter, and your social security number and hit enter, you can do it. So, and if you have any problems at all during the day, you call us, we'll help you through it. You can also make an appointment online, or you can call the office, and that way I like to call it the Disney Fast Pass. So, although we generally don't have a wait in the office, during certain times of the year, it does get a little busier. So you can call us. I'll be there, St. Lucie West office is right behind Chick-fil-A, 250 Country Club Drive. The Fort Pierce office is 2300 Virginia Avenue at the corner of Virginia Avenue and 25th Street. So if you let us know you're coming, 10 a.m. on Tuesday, we'll be ready for you. Okay, take less than 15 minutes to file, whether you're doing it online or in person. Yes, sir.
Michelle, just a quick question with regards to kind of what we see in the market. So if there's I'll just make up an example, there's an assessed value on a home of 500,000, just made that up. And we know that we're seeing a market downturn with respect to prices, so I buy it for 450. Is my taxable amount, should I estimate it based upon the 500 that's on the website, or the 450 that I purchased it for?
Generally speaking, it's best to use the sales price. Now, remember, we're always a year behind. So depending when that sale happens today, which is what, July 20 something, what day are we?
25th. 25th.
Okay, if that sale is happening today on July 25th, you're not going to see that reflected, the January 1, 2025 value. You won't see it until August, right? August of 25. So yeah, so you use the most current, what you believe to be sales price or value when you're estimating taxes. And call us if you have any questions. Like if you hear nothing else today, you probably already heard me say at least 3 times, call us. We're here to help. I promise we want to help every property owner. We want you to understand not only the process, we want you to make sure you have every exemption you're entitled to. Some people are like, I'm not calling government. I don't know. We make every effort to ensure that you receive superior service. So don't think that we're against you in any way. We're trying something to, make it challenging. We're here to help. Okay. Did that cover homestead before we move on to other exemptions? Okay. So we listed just a couple. The number one that is at the top here is for seniors. 25,000 additional exemption for seniors that are 65 and older. So what if one person 62 and one person 65? Doesn't matter. We've got that one person that's 65 and older, right? So they can apply for the exemption. And then there is a total household income. Generally speaking, that does not include Social Security. Okay. So yes, this is for low income seniors, but generally it doesn't include social security. So this year it was $36,614. That will be adjusted every single year based on the CPI, the Consumer Price Index. It's set by the state. Every year it's adjusted. What I tell people that are 65 and older to do is mark your calendar and call us on April 1 every year. Find out what is the adjusted gross income amount for this year. Email us, send a carrier pigeon, post it on Facebook, whatever you want to do. Contact us and say, what is that amount? And then look at your tax return for the adjusted gross income and see if you're anywhere near that. Okay?
Are
Call
you
us.
saying either or? Either the, you know, to be a resident 65 and older, to the second one, to qualify for the exemption of the 36,000.
Say it again, I'm sorry.
Both of those.
Yes, you have to have both. You have to be 65 or older and you have to have a limited household income.
To get the extra
To
25,000.
get the extra 25,000 for persons 65 and older. So you'll have your $50,000 exemption in place, has nothing to do with income. That's your homestead.
Oh, this is the, okay. it's
But
over
this
and
is
above
the
50.
additional exemption that you
Okay,
possibly,
that's my problem, is the income thing. Yeah, okay. got
which
it.
is a blessing. I'm glad you don't qualify for that.
No, I don't.
And I'm sorry for people, but honestly, you know.
I know, it really isn't a blessing. but-
It's better to have the income.
Well, I guess it is anyway.
We can get those forms online.
You can file online for the senior exemption as well, or you can come in, yes, but they're not forms that you print off and mail in or anything. It's automatically input into the system. Does that make sense?
Well,
So you can't get a form and fill it out
I
and
know,
send it.
it'd make it easier.
Oh, to fill out a form?
No, I have a lot of 65 and older clients.
Do you feel comfortable using a laptop and helping them input? You could do that, or you can call us and we'll make it happen. We'll find a way. If you've got somebody that you believe qualifies,
I got hundreds, so.
perfect, we'll help. Well, let's connect. We'll make sure they get the help they need. If that means we go out to a community and spend an afternoon getting people signed up, we will. We'll make it happen. Yes, ma'am.
Could you repeat that about the Medicare? So their Medicare income?
Social Security generally is excluded. And I say generally because, you know, sometimes the amount that people make, it actually gets taxed. So it basically the non-tax Social Security is not applicable to it. Generally. You know, there's always unique things. So that's why I say call us. Call us individually because everybody has a different thing going on. The other one I wanted to highlight is our 5,000 widowers exemption. So the only thing required for that is that they bring in a copy of the death certificate and that they have not remarried. And then they can receive this additional exemption. While we're on this, I'll mention that if anybody is on social media, please give the office a follow. This was a $500 exemption 2 years ago, not last year. We've worked hard, we as property appraisers, to get that increase. $500 exemption meant that the average property owner saved about $10. I mean, hardly get McDonald's for that. So finally, we together lobbied the state to increase that to a $5,000 exemption. So now it's going to save a property owner about $100. So at least it makes it worth doing the paperwork. Okay, thank you. We've talked about this in file online, either office location as well as online. And again, if you end up with a situation that somebody just can't, they're homebound or there's something else going on, call us. We will work with any St. Lucie County resident to ensure that they can file one way or another. Okay, how can taxes differ? We've already touched on this a little bit, but this is a nice photo with some information. Purchased in 2023, both of them. Both have a market value of $356,000. Neighbor one had that Save Our Homes portability, that tax savings that they brought from another address in Florida, $60,500. They can actually bring up to $500,000 of value for portability. They brought 60 60,500, so that brought their assessed value to 295,500, their homestead exemption of 50, they got a senior exemption for 25,000. Their taxable value is $220,500. Where neighbor two, they didn't have that benefit. 356,000, they did get the homestead exemption, so that takes off 50, their taxable value is 306,000. When they get that tax bill and they talk about the dollar amount of taxes, who's a little unhappy, okay? Neighbor two that came late to the party and didn't have a Florida homestead in place years ago. So it is a little challenging to explain that to people. So I had a woman in my office one time and she's like, you can't do that, it's against law. In Massachusetts, they do this. Welcome to Florida. It is absolutely the law that we do it this way. So if you or any of your neighbors have questions, again, please call us and we'll walk you through what that looks like. Myths. You can, once you rent your property, you will lose your homestead. Not true. You can rent your property for up to 30 days in any one calendar year and maintain your homestead. You need to live in your home for 6 months and a day before you can file for a homestead exemption. Not true. You can live in it 1 day and file. As long as you own it and occupy, you can file for an exemption there. Homestead exemption is the only tax savings benefit, as we've talked about with the person 65 and older, widowers. There are some veterans. Homestead is not the only tax savings benefit. Generally speaking, the one that most of us only qualify for, but check to ensure that you don't qualify for something else. I don't live in Florida all year round, so I can't claim an exemption. We've dispelled that, right? You really only have to live there that 1 day and claim it as your residence. So I kind of went over the facts as I said fiction, so we'll go through that one. Oh, this is what I wanted to mention. Sometimes we get into the wonderful idea of planning for our future, right? When we start thinking about what's going to happen if I'm not here someday, let me make it easier for my children, right? This is a concern because in Florida, some people forget what a benefit the 3% cap is of that homestead exemption. And so they automatically go to put their property into a trust, add somebody new to the property. Maybe, you know, my daughter, Megan, I'm going to put Megan on the property because I want it to be a smooth transition, right? I don't want her to have to worry about going through probate. So if I put Megan's name on my property tomorrow, what's going to happen to my exemption?
Nothing. Yeah.
I just gave away half of the ownership of my property when I deeded the property to an exemption or deeded it to my dependent.
Yeah.
What did you say? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear what he said.
You only need one person that's 65 instead.
That's for the senior exemption. You only need one person that's 65.
Oh, but not the original.
But when you're talking about the homestead exemption, that is based upon ownership. Remember, you got to own and occupy. So if I own it as one person, I have 100% of the ownership, right?
Mhm.
If I add my daughter on, who's an adult with 19 years old, and I give her 50% of the ownership, what happens? She now owns 50% of my home, which means she would also have to occupy the home in order to receive that exemption.
So that's not true on a husband and wife then?
That is not true on a husband and wife, because when you get married, you become one.
It's different, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, okay.
So if you're doing, if you married later and you're adding a spouse, that is not a challenge. But if you are filing a deed and changing ownership, or putting your property into a trust and changing who has the ability there to occupy that property, that could be a concern. Again, call us and say, Michelle, I'm thinking about doing this. This is my plan. I want to do this. Will that impact my taxes? Okay? Will it impact my exemption in any way? And we will walk you through that. We're not attorneys. We're not going to give you legal advice. We're not going to tell you how to file it with the IRS and, you know, what happens with all of the other things in life that could be going on. But we will let you know how it impacts your exemption and your valuation.
How was this all investigated?
In what manner?
Yeah. So how
Like
do you
if
know?
I,
Someone's on the deed and there's other The other,
Every deed that is filed in St. Lucie County automatically comes to our office. So it's filed with Michelle Miller, clerk of court. And every day at the end of their workday, there's a file transmitted to our office because we are charged with updating public record.
so deed seems, it's pretty simplistic, but the other situations that ran into.
Trust.
Who's the owner, who actually occupies it one day? Like, how is this? ever-
We ask you.
Okay.
So we look them in the eye or they type it in and they say that they live there. There are some other methods that if somebody's trying to game the system that come out. I mean, we live in a digital world, right? So there's a ton of information out there. I will tell you most of the time, probably 8% of the people are honest and have a property and they're getting their exemption. There's a couple that are trying to game the system and maybe get an exemption here and a property tax exemption somewhere else. In the digital world we live today, that comes out. Sometimes it takes a year, but it comes out. And when it comes out, then they pay more. So I don't encourage anybody to break the law and falsely file for an exemption, but in my experience, it ends up coming out. And oftentimes their neighbors are quick to report. So you can file online, if you have concerns and let us know about fraud. And oftentimes that's what neighbors are like, there's people in and out all the time, they rent it, and then we will investigate. I'm not the sheriff, I don't go looking for people to break the law. But if somebody tells us that someone's breaking the law, we will investigate that and research it and confirm.
So,
No, you go first, and I got you, I see you.
okay. What do you have in terms of safeguarding for people trying to steal deeds?
So Michelle Miller, clerk of court, actually has a free notification that you can register for on her website. And so if you register for that, anytime something is filed in your name, you can get a text or an email. So that is one thing that the clerk of the court does. As I said, all of those documents are coming from the clerk's office to us. We are manually checking those. So we at the property appraiser's office are kind of a second safety net. We've caught several properties over the years. In fact, the very first time we did it was back in 2006, I believe it was. We're like, something's not right here. This is a little fishy. And so that was our first time we actually worked with the sheriff's office because of a fraudulent deed. So we are looking at every single one of those that come through. There's things that we can check. There's notaries, there's signatures. Sometimes we'll pull up the signature from when they purchased the property to, does this match? There's usually a unique identifier that'll come up. And so we're watching that constantly. To say that it couldn't happen, so everybody be aware, but we are watching those individually. Yes.
The question referred to the tax exemption that you mentioned earlier. Say I want to add my daughter to, I'm just, as an example, and it will be like 50%. I understand, like she'll own the 50% of all my children. I don't care about that, but how would that affect the tax exemption?
You could lose that cap. So if you had let's say $100,000 cap on your property, which is normal right now, you could, instead of paying taxes on $200,000 for a $300,000 property, you would pay taxes on $300,000.
So in other words, anyone who, let's say I have my parent who had a home and they want to will it, so then it's not transferable to a new person.
No exemption is transferable in any way. But I will tell you, if in the case of your daughter, there are ways. Again, we're not attorneys, but we may help you when you tell us what your individual situation is and what you're trying to do. We could make suggestions for you to ask your attorney about. So in the case of me transferring some ownership to my daughter, only because I want to make sure that she doesn't have to go through probate. My advice to myself would be, well, ask your attorney about adding her with rights of survivorship. That means that when I'm gone, she will have the property, but until then, she doesn't have any actual say in the property and it doesn't impact my ownership. So I can maintain my full exemption. She has an exemption down the street. She can maintain her full exemption.
Are you talking about Lady Bird deed?
Yeah, so those ladybird deeds. The vein of my existence. But yes, again, encourage people to call us and we'll walk through the individual situations. Oh. What do we have next? Trim highlights. As I mentioned, your trim notice is mailed every August. Circle August 20th on your calendar. This information will be mailed to you every year. You can also check it online. It's 2 pages, it's a ton of columns and what feels like an overwhelmingly amount of numbers, right? If you only look at 2 things, and that's these red box, your property market value, what we're calling, the property appraiser's office is calling your market value last year versus this year. You want to ensure that you agree with your market value for this year. Next up, your exemptions. Ensure that your exemption is in place. Because again, some of us forget that things happen during the year and we're, oh, I can't believe I filed that deed. I can't believe this happened, whatever. Ensure that your exemption is in place. If it is not for any reason, call us so that we can handle things immediately if there's any situation to rectify. If you're wondering about your portability, your tax savings benefit, it is actually in this purple box here in the middle. It'll be listed right there. So if you're thinking about moving and you're like, I wonder what my benefit is, you can look at that purple box to know that. Okay. I already mentioned to follow us on social media, so I think that covers all of the things that I can give you in a short amount of time. So I know that was a lot of information. I know some of it may have been a little relevant. Some of it may have been a little like, what are you even talking about? If you have questions, I'll say it one last time, please call us. We're here to assist you. And again, if there's any situation with seniors that we need to do a little extra help with, veterans, we're happy to do that as well. Okay, so contact us. Yes, ma'am.
With the tangible taxes for office space, and I know I got it, is it every 10 years? You gotta redo one.
Say it one more time. I'm sorry, I'm hard of hearing. I wear 2 hearing aids and I'm still hard of hearing.
Tangible tax that we file for business, like whatever furniture that you have inside there. I got a couple of times that I have to fill out the paperwork. If I don't fill it all in the saving, then I owe them $10,000. But why would I owe $10,000 in furniture that I have for the past 7 years that I've been lost?
Well, call us and we'll look at individual. I can't say without the information in front of me. Let's look at your account. Call us during
Yeah, they
business
call
hours.
in and they solve it, but I mean, it's the same furniture that you'll be paying taxes on every time it comes around.
Well, if when we mail out that tangible return, if we don't get the information back. So we need that timely return, otherwise we don't know, and we have to kind of go on what information we have at the moment. Okay, well, thank you all.
Very
so
good.
much. I appreciate it. Appreciate the opportunity. Really great.
Wow.
We have some events, and so we'll have Andrea speak about the Roaring Twenties event. We'll have Nicole speak about our health fair. All the proceeds are gonna go to this organization. So we thank Wickshire for having a health fair for our benefit. Thank you, Nicole.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Berkshire Senior Living is having a health fair on Friday, September 13th. I have all the information here. And we are looking for sponsors and we're looking for vendors. All the information is here. This is the second year that we've done this health fair and we had an amazing turnout last year. And we're hoping to have an amazing turnout this year too. So we have a little bit of time. Did you have them?
Yes, there's some
already
up there.
out?
But I'd like one.
Okay,
Thank you.
yes. And all the proceeds go to treasure clips. Advocates for seniors. Anybody else? Appreciate that.
You know what, I haven't. I have some.
You did you get it from the lab? Did you get it?
I don't remember where it is, but I know.
Thank you very much, by the way, for doing that. You know, Andrea's gonna talk about the Roaring Twenties extravaganza.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Nice to see you all the new faces. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're having a fundraising for Treasure Coast Advocate for Seniors. The Roaring Twenties, and it's September 21st at Treasure Coast, Texas. It's $75 per person. And please dress to impress because we're gonna have a door prize. We need raffle items. We also need purchases of tickets. We're still looking for sponsorship in any way you can. Whatever items we can put together, we need basket that we can do some auctions and also Chinese raffle. We also still looking for some sponsorship position because all those proceeds goes to Treasure Coast. Goes to Treasure Coast Advocate for Seniors. So please help us. You don't help us, we can't help it. And we're looking forward for that. Everything counts. Doesn't matter if you have a bottle of wine, bring it, come. Whatever you have, we can make a basket together. And last year we have a lovely event, the same one. This is the second one. And it turns out good. This year we want it to be better, more exciting. We guys gonna have fun.
It was a lot of fun last year.
There was drinking going on, right?
Yeah, we're looking forward for your help. We have these little cards. I could give them out. We have a QR code. We scan it. It goes straight to Eventbrite. We can purchase a ticket. Don't want to do that? My phone number is right here. You can contact me. I'll come and pick up a check. So please do help us.
So
You can pass it out to your friends, family, invite other people.
So there was drinking, eating, and dancing, right? Sounds pretty good to me. We were there.
So they're looking forward for your help, please, please, please. And I thank you all for coming this morning. Aviva, she's one of our sponsors, but she already gone, and I'm so grateful for that. And whoever purchased ticket for tables, we are so grateful for all of the sponsorship. It all adds up. Okay.
Thank you,
guys.
So Mary and I donated, we have a poster for you in case you want to put it where you work or give it to a business that you know or whatever. We have a whole bunch of these. Okay. And so if you want one, you can do that. I have a few packages with me of the information in the format for the donation. So if you want to do donations or sponsorship or whatever, I've got all that information with me right here. So the amount of effort that gets put into these events, the health fairs, this event, I mean, like this event I have in Alexis, right? We're meeting in a Zoom call weekly now to pull this thing off, weekly, not once a month or whatever. So there's tremendous effort to be able to pull this off to help our seniors in the area. And believe me when I say, the seniors need help. Okay, and I hope someone will help me when I get a little older. Not old yet, but older. Okay, so right now, we have a phenomenal website. You can go on, you can donate to Treasure Coast Seniors. We're on Facebook. We have our own YouTube channel. This is live. It'll go directly into our YouTube channel, correct? And with that, we didn't mention that, we have somebody that's phenomenal with all this techie stuff because it's techie experts, and his name is Alex. Why don't you come over and talk about what you do, because you didn't get a chance to talk about it.
Yes, thank you. Hi, my name is Alex Foreman with Techie Expert. I do web design, graphic design, email and backend automation, Google business profiles, pretty much anything needed to help improve your online presence and drive more customers to you. So let me know if you'd like me to review your site, review your materials, or just see what I can do to help your business. Thank you.
Okay, anything else to add, Catherine?
No, sir, I'm good.
Any other questions, any other comments? Make sure you're fixing the food on your way out, okay? And if you want a poster to put up somewhere, you got a whole stack of them, okay? Come and see us. All right, have a great day.
Thank you.